What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today we're going to jump back over to Marvel Comics, and we are going to continue our coverage over Miss Marvel. Yes, Miss Marvel, and we pick up with Volume 2. Now, with Volume 2, it is basically where she gets her mentors. Volume 1, she got her powers. Volume 2, she gets mentors. Mentors as a way to help her be a better hero. And honestly, I like the idea because the heroes she meets are the heroes she needs in her corner to make her a better hero. But either way, if you do enjoy this comic book video, please hit that like button down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video. So getting into Miss Marvel number 6, we actually pick up with her right now out in the city, patrolling the city to make sure that everything is okay. Now, when I say she is making sure everything is okay, it is really her just out there destroying the small robots that her new bad guy, the inventor, has been putting out in the city. Now remember, we have not learned much about the inventor just yet. This book right here is going to give us the whole background story of this new bad guy for Miss Marvel. But either way, after Kamala Khan is able to get rid of some robots that he had placed in the city, that is when her brother calls and says, "Mom and Dad are looking for you. They're wondering where in the world are you? Oh, by the way, Dad wants you to go to church." Well, their version of church and their version of a pastor. I do not know how to pronounce those names, so please forgive me. I do not want to offend anyone's culture. But either way, of course you have the brother saying, "You need to come home and get ready to go to church tomorrow." So then you have Kamala Khan actually go see the pastor. Now, when she goes see the pastor, of course, the pastor tells her, "Hey, listen, your father has told me that something is going on with you. I don't know what, but I think I should know." Now, of course, Kamala Khan does not tell him anything, but she does tell him this, that she's out there in the city trying to help different people in different ways. But of course, she cannot tell the pastor how she is helping people. But then you have the pastor say, "Okay, well, at least I know you're doing something good." But Kamala Khan says, "Yeah, but I wish I had someone in my field, like some kind of mentor, to actually train me." And what she means by that is she wished she had another superhero who has been doing this for a long time actually there to actually help train her. And so she says, "I wish there was someone there." And the pastor says, "Listen, when you least expect it, that person could actually come in and actually help you. But it comes in when you least expect it." And of course, she does leave on a good note. She actually feels happy that her and her pastor had a good moment, because we learned that she always thought her pastor actually never did like her, but in reality, he cares for her. But either way though, once she leaves the church hoping that a hero will come by and actually help train her, that is when she hears something coming from the sewers. And of course, she's like, "Yes, it's my time to be a hero. Let me go get my outfit from her friend Bruno." She does get her outfit from Bruno, and she does go into the sewers, which honestly, I kind of like this, because I feel like when it comes to new heroes in comics, one of the first things they have to do is go in the sewers, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm in the sewers. This is totally disgusting." But either way though, once she gets into the sewers, that is the moment where she finds some kind of open space in the sewers that has a bunch of different alligators. But of course, these alligators have something on their head, which means that they are being controlled in some kind of manner. Now, this is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan being confronted by the inventor. Now, the inventor is really not here. It's really actually just a hologram of him. But either way though, you actually have him give Kamala Khan his background story, his origin story, where he says his name is Thomas Elliot. Now that name should sound very familiar to you, because that is the name name of someone who used to be a great American inventor, but he says, I am a clone of that person. And the reason why I look like a bird is because my assistant, the one who actually made me, well, he let some bird DNA get in the way of the process of making me. And so, of course, I came out like this bird-like man. But either way, though, you actually have the inventor say, I'm not going to kill you. I actually need you for my future projects. But before he is able to actually explain what he needs Miss Marvel for, that is the moment you have his assistant say someone else is in here with her. And that is the moment we see someone throw a sword through one of the controls that was controlling one of the crocodiles. And so, of course, Miss Marvel thinks, oh my gosh, I have to fight someone else besides these crocodiles. But actually, she is lucky because it's not someone she has to fight against, it's Wolverine. And no, she's not going to fight Wolverine. She is actually going to team up with Wolverine. This is going to be her first superhero team up, which is huge to say. Her first superhero team up with Wolverine, one of the greatest Marvel characters of all time. But either way, though, you actually have Wolverine wondering, who in the world is this teenage girl in the sewers dressed like that and trying to fight against me and some crocodiles? What in the world is happening here? But of course, they have no time to talk because they do get attacked by some crocodiles. And so they have to work together to defeat the crocodiles. But once they do, they can actually sit down and have a conversation. And so you actually have the two of them explain why they're here, starting with Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel says, well, I'm here because this inventor guy is attacking my city. He attacked one of my best friend's brother, and I want to bring him in for the crimes he has committed in my city. And then you have Wolverine explain why he's here for. And he says, one of my students from my school, the Jean Grey School, had just disappeared. And all the clues tells me that she last appeared here, and also this inventor guy is the one behind everything. And so you have the two heroes decide to work together. But when they do go through a few more traps. They have to work together to overcome these traps. But that is the moment where you have Miss Marvel learn that Wolverine currently does not have his healing factor. Because you have to remember, when it comes to Miss Marvel, she loves superheroes so much. And she knows a lot about different superheroes. And so she's like, hey, Wolverine, we have something in common. We both have healing factors. But he said, my healing factor is gone. And so with them going through those traps, and yes, they were able to overcome those traps, well, Wolverine is still injured because he does not have his healing factor. And that is very huge to say. But after a while, you actually have Wolverine admit that he actually likes Miss Marvel. And not that kind of like, I mean like he looks at her as a good hero, someone he could see himself teaming up with a lot of times down the road. But while she is trying to take care of him because he's kind of injured because he has no healing factor, that is the moment they get confronted by a gigantic alligator in the middle of the sewers. And so it's like, can this day get any worse? And so as we jump into Miss Marvel number 7, we actually see the two characters work together to actually defeat this gigantic crocodile. Now, I really like this moment for both characters. And the reason why is because for Miss Marvel, you have to remember, this is her first team up ever. And so right now, she is actually learning a lot from Wolverine. And one of the things that she is learning from him right now is how to adapt in different situations, which is really huge when it comes for superheroes. Because right now, she has to adapt on how she is going to fight against this alligator because her partner right now, Wolverine, has no healing factor. And so he really can't do too much because he is trying to recover from his earlier injuries. But either way, I also like this for Wolverine. And the reason why is because Wolverine is known for being like a father figure for a lot of characters. And what I mean by that is he's always there for 3 characters, Jubilee, Rogue, and Kitty Pryde, sorry, 4 characters, X-23 as well. But he's always like this father figure to those characters. So to see him right now helping out Miss Marvel, he's kind of being like a father figure in a superhero mindset, or more like a big brother instead, making sure that she is actually able to handle her own business. And the longer he's with her, the more and more he realized that he actually cares for her as like a little sister. It's honestly pretty nice to see, and that is why I really like this moment for both characters. They're both doing great things together, and again, they are able to actually defeat the crocodile and move on with their day. But then you have Wolverine teach Kamala Khan more things about being a hero, because Kamala Khan is having a hard time being a hero because she hates to fight. She hates to cause pain to other people or animals. And with them actually killing that crocodile, it was kind of too much for her. But Wolverine say, listen, darling, this is the superhero life. You really don't have a choice here. You actually have to go out there and fight, because pain will be there in those battles. Pain for the villains or pain for you. But either way, pain is going to be there. It's something you have to overcome. Now, after that part, you then have Wolverine bring up the idea that Kamala Khan has taken the old name Miss Marvel away from Carol Danvers. Because remember, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s, Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel. She was the original Miss Marvel. But then she took up the mantle Captain Marvel. And so that left the Miss Marvel name out there for anyone to use. And so Kamala Khan took that name. And Wolverine's wondering, why in the world did you take that name? And she says, because I look up to Carol Danvers. When I met her, or when I saw her doing great things, it inspired me to be a hero. And so I owe who I am to her. And that is why I took up her name. And so it's kind of like, okay, that makes sense, because we know Kamala Khan loves superheroes so much. And so that leads into the moment where you have Wolverine and Miss Marvel actually find a room. And when they get into this room only has 4 walls and a TV on one of them. The TV actually turns on, and surprise, it's the Inventor. And he says, listen, I need you guys for my future projects, but I'm not ready for you guys just yet. So I need to keep you guys busy for a tad bit longer. And so that begins the process of the walls actually moving in, hoping to crush Wolverine and Kamala Khan. Now, Wolverine was able to shut down the walls, but then you have Wolverine tell Kamala Khan, you need to follow the tubes in the TV wall to find a way out for us. Of course, when she goes in the wall to find a way out, that is when she finds Wolverine's missing student. Remember, the only reason why he is here is to basically save or find his missing student. And we come to find out that the Inventor is kidnapping teenagers and forcing them to be a way to power up his machines. You heard that right. He is using teenagers as a way to power up his machines through electricity. And listen, I'm going to break that down later on in this video. But for right now, Kamala Khan's like, oh my God, I found her. Wolverine is able to break through the wall. And then you have Kamala Khan, Wolverine, and the missing kid actually get out. And really, the last page for Wolverine and Kamala Khan team up is Wolverine really saying, hey, listen, kid, I like you a lot. You'll be a great hero one day. I owe you some food because you did so much for our team up. But either way, have a great day. I'm taking my missing kid home so that she can finally rest. Then we begin the process of Kamala Khan actually learning about her DNA, her genetics. And the reason why I say that is because we pick up with Medusa, the queen of the Inhumans. And this is the moment where I need to go back and explain what happened in our last video. So remember, in our last video, Kamala Khan was hit with something called a Terrigen Mist. The Terrigen Mist is heavily tied into the Inhumans. this race of humans on Earth. Now, the way the Inhumans get their powers, they get their powers from the Terrigen Mist, the same Terrigen Mist that hit Kamala Khan in our last video. Now, here's the thing though, in the early days of Marvel Comics, the Terrigen Mist was kept in some kind of container, and only select few people across the world were able to go through the process of becoming an Inhuman, with their abilities being unlocked thanks to the Terrigen Mist. But thanks to some Marvel events, the Terrigen Mist is no longer trapped in that capsule. It's now a cloud that just travels across the world. And so in our last video, that cloud actually hit Kamala Khan, which of course told us that she is an Inhuman. Now, here's the thing though. You have Steve Rogers actually meeting up with Medusa, the queen of the Inhumans. And you have Steve Rogers saying, I think it's best for you to bring her in, talk to her because she is actually one of your own. And Medusa said, I'll do that sooner or later. But for right now, I'm going to send her a companion. That companion is Lockjaw, the teleporting dog who is so cute. Oh my gosh, I'm a huge Lockjaw fan. But either way though, Lockjaw is going to be a super pet for Kamala Khan. And so of course, in the opening pages of Miss Marvel number 8, is really just Kamala Khan meeting Lockjaw the dog, because Lockjaw is so amazing. But when Lockjaw appears in the city, of course you have everyone else wondering, why is there a huge dog in the middle of the city? What is going on? But of course, when Lockjaw and Miss Marvel meet each other, Miss Marvel's like, oh my gosh, it's the cutest thing in the world. I have to take him home. And the next moment really reminds me of my family, because my family were not big on pets. And so when I brought a pet home, they were like, no, automatically. But for Kamala Khan, at first they do say no, but after a while they're like, fine, this huge dog can stay in our backyard, even though it's going to have a lot of folks questioning us where in the world this dog came from. But after getting her parents' approval, you do have her go upstairs. She calls Bruno, and her and Bruno work together to figure out, where did Wolverine student disappear at? Like, where was she actually kidnapped at? And of course, they go through her social media pages. And that is when they find out that she tagged herself at some random location. And for Bruno, he's like, that's weird. That location is really not on the map. I mean, it is, but there's nothing there important in that area. So why did she, pinpoint herself being there a couple days ago? And so that means Kamala Khan must go figure it out. And you have Kamala Khan and Lockjaw actually go to that location where the girl was last seen at. And when they get there, the only thing they see is a rundown power plant. And so now the question is, why did she come here for? It's a rundown power plant. There's nothing special here for her. And so while they're trying to look around for some clues, that is the moment they get attacked by a gigantic robot. And so of course, Miss Marvel is getting another team up with Lockjaw, of all people, even though it's really cool. But you have Lockjaw and Miss Marvel actually work together to defeat this robot. But that leads into a huge moment. When they actually defeat the robot, they see another teenager who's trapped inside the robot. And just like Wolverine student earlier, this teenager is powering up the robot. And it's not like he's actually in there and like he has some kind of mutant power. No, he's unconscious. He's knocked out. And some way he's being able to power up the robot just like Wolverine's kid did earlier. And so the question is, how is the inventor being able to pull electricity from these teenagers to power up his machines? Either way, you have Lockjaw and Kamala Khan say, we need to take this kid to a nearby hospital. But while they're about to leave, a small robot actually sneaks in the sock or the pocket of Kamala Khan. And that tiny robot is going to be very important. And so you have Kamala Khan go to school because, hey, She's just a teenager who's a superhero. She still has to go to school, except when she gets to school, her teacher is like, "You're late. Where in the world have you been?" And Kamala Khan can't tell her teacher nothing, but at the same time, her friend Nakia wants to know, well, like, where have you been, girl? You've been late to school almost every day, and here you are again, late to school. Remember, the only person that knows Kamala Khan is Miss Marvel is Bruno and his brother Vic, because she saved Vic's life. But either way, that is the moment where you have a gigantic robot actually attack the place. And with this robot attacking, it's like, oh my gosh, why is this robot here for? And you have to remember that small robot that snuck into the pocket of Kamala Khan was basically a tracker, a way for the inventor to send something after her. Of course, it happened at school. But here's the thing though, because it was a surprise attack, she needs to recover. But here's the problem. As she's recovering, she realized she does not have her superhero outfit. It's somewhere else. And so she needs to use her powers to change her appearance. Remember, in our last video, she was able to change her appearance to look like Carol Danvers. And so right now, she is trying to do that one more time because she needs to deal with this robot. But with her body trying to heal up, her powers are not working properly. And so now it's like, there's a gigantic robot here that could kill everyone here. I can't stop it because if I go out there to fight it, the world will know that me, Kamala Khan, is Miss Marvel. And so with Miss Marvel number 9, we actually pick up with Miss Marvel still freaking out because she has no idea what can she do. She can't use her powers to fight against a gigantic robot. She can't use her powers to actually change her appearance because right now her powers are trying to heal her up. Her healing factor. Now she's in luck that Lockjaw does appear, and with Lockjaw being here, Lockjaw can actually be a distraction for her so that she can actually fight against the gigantic robot, but also using the smoke in the air to cover her up as well too. Now this is also the moment where she realized that for some reason she can no longer change her appearance at all. Like at first she thought because it was her healing factor, but then she realized she can't change her appearance at all, and that is a huge thing. But either way, you actually have her being able to go toe to toe with that robot and actually defeat the robot. But once she did, of course, she passes out because she is extremely exhausted. After fighting last night, this morning, and now here at school, she's just extremely exhausted. Now, of course, the police arrive, and that is a huge problem because if the police see her, they'll know that she is Miss Marvel. Even with Bruno running through the lines to get to her, to hopefully wake her up, he's still freaking out because she can't wake up, and the police are about to walk up on them. That is when you have Lockjaw teleport in with Medusa, and Medusa tells Lockjaw, we're going to take Bruno and Kamala Khan somewhere else. Let's take them home to the Atelian, the home to the Inhumans. Now we do jump over to the Atelian where you actually have Bruno waiting for Miss Marvel to wake up because once they got to the Atelian, it seems like the Inhumans put her in some kind of container as a way to speed up her healing process. But either way though, that is the moment you have Bruno be confronted by Medusa and one of her servants, and his name is Venomous. I really hope I pronounced that name correctly. If not, well, please forgive me. Either way, you have Venomous actually wake up Kamala Khan to see how she is doing, which of course she is okay. And so she's 100% again. Either way though, this is the moment where Kamala Khan actually learns that she is an Inhuman. Remember, she had no idea what she was. Matter of fact, she even says that she thought she was a mutant, that her powers just unlocked because of puberty. But of course, Medusa says, no, you are Inhuman. Like, I'm going to tell you where you came from. You came from here. Like, your genetics are tied to us. You are an Inhuman. And for her, she's kind of happy but sad at the same time because she feels like she's even weirder now because her genetics are actually tied into the Inhumans. But either way, though, you have Inamo say that it's best for her to stay here and let the Inhumans deal with the Inventor. But of course, Kamala Khan says no, because I need to deal with him. He is my bad guy. He's in my city. And so she asks Lockjaw to, well, teleport her back to New Jersey so that she can deal with the Inventor. And so we dive into one of my favorite moments, and it's only 2 pages because when Kamala Khan gets home, of course, her parents are upset that she was not at the school when they came to pick her up after the school got attacked. But you have the mom bring up what she had go through to make sure that Kamala Khan and her brother had a good life. What I mean by that is you have Kamala Khan mother and father say how they left their old country to come to America to give their kids a better chance in life. But the problem is, though, here in this country, we have so many problems. Guns, bombs, and the list goes on and on. Superheroes, robots, whatever. And so her mom is freaking out, but you have Kamala Khan being able to calm her mom down and say, everything is going to be okay. I did not mean to upset you. Now, here's the big thing. When Kamala Khan goes into her room, she sees that she has a new superhero outfit. And this outfit was made by someone named V. And we come to find out who V is. V, of course, is Vic, the brother to Bruno. And it makes sense that he knows Kamala Khan is Miss Marvel because in our last video, she actually saved him from a house. Matter of fact, you have Vic and Kamala Khan meet back up and go to that same house that she had to save Vic from in our last video. But either way, though, while they're there, they realize that the house is having a lot of commotion. A lot of things are happening. And that is when Vic says it is Harvest Day. Harvest Day is a very important day because that means a bunch of teenagers are all taken to the power plant we saw earlier. I had a hard time saying power plant. Sorry, y'all. But either way, so you have Kamala Khan freak out because to her mindset, that means more teenagers are about to be kidnapped and disappear from their families. And so that's when she jumps in and she tries to fight against some more robots. And we do get a few more pages of her and Lockjaw working together to defeat the robot. But once they do defeat the robot, that is when we get a huge bombshell, because the last page of Miss Marvel number 9 is when Miss Marvel actually is confronted by the kids who were supposed to be taken to the power plant. And you have the kids actually tell Miss Marvel that they actually volunteered to be here. They're like, hey, stop. We realize what you're trying to do. You're trying to save us, but I want to tell you, we do not need any saving. We actually came here to volunteer to help the Inventor out. And so you have the teens explain why they are here for. Why are they volunteering to help out the Inventor? And you have one the teens say, you have to remember, when it comes to humans, we let out a lot of body heat. But at the same time, we also release electrical fields as well. And so that explains why those 2 teenagers we saw earlier were basically batteries for different projects of the Inventor. But you have the teens say that with the world having so many problems, you know, overpopulation, food hunger, and climate problems, that they feel like with them being the extra generation, they should just go ahead and give their lives over to science as a way to fix the world. They don't realize that when it comes to the Inventor, he's honestly just using them because, hey, it's free resources. But of course, while Miss Marvel is trying to explain that what they're doing is actually not that great, because the problem is the only thing they're going to do is give the first or the last generation more time on Earth for their comfort. What's the point in doing that? But either way, while she's trying to convince them to walk away from this project, that is the moment a bomb goes off. Of course, you have the teens explain that the inventor had the place rigged to blow because just in case the place becomes compromised, he has a way to get rid of it. And so it blew up. But that is also the moment where you have another robot appear to, of course, battle against Kamala Khan. Now, with this happening, it's honestly Kamala Khan just getting used to the idea that she needs to adapt to every single situation that she is facing, something Wolverine had basically taught her in the earlier part of our book. But either way though, after a few pages of actually being able to go toe-to-toe with the robot, she's unable to actually defeat the robot, and also the robot is actually able to kidnap Lockjaw, and that is huge. Lockjaw has now been taken hostage, and for Kamala Khan, she can't believe she just let that happen right in front of her. Now, she does beg the teens to actually help her out, and the teens are at first like, why should we help you? We told you, we volunteered to do this. We do not want to be on this earth. We're causing the earth more problems. But then you have Miss Marvel ask them a question. What were you doing before you actually volunteered to actually help out the inventor? And you have all the teens explain their past jobs, and Kamala Khan's like, all your past jobs could literally help the earth out if you use your jobs in the correct way. And all the teens realize, oh my gosh, you're right. If we do that, the world could be saved. But either way, you have the teens actually agree to help out Kamala Khan to go save Lockjaw from the inventor before something bad could really happen to him. Now, when it comes to the inventor, we have to remember where his hideout is actually at. Of course, the power plant. Remember, the power plant was the last location Wolverine's student was seen at, and also the fact that Vic said that Harvest Day is when a bunch of teenagers are grabbed and taken to a power plant. And so you have Miss Marvel actually being able to go to the actual power plant and sneak into it before someone is able to actually see her. And so once Miss Marvel is able to sneak into the base, that is the moment where she is able to hide somewhere and overhear a conversation going on between the inventor and his assistant. Now, while she is listening in, this is the moment that shows us that what the teenager said earlier is actually correct. That basically the inventor has asked teenagers to volunteer because they are the wasteful generation. They're the main reason why the earth has so many problems, which is world hunger, the climate control, pollution, a lot of different things going on earth right now. But with that being said, you have the inventor saying that his plan is to use a new project called the Grid, and hopefully the Grid will get rid of all the teenagers in the world to hopefully fix all those problems. Now, you do have Kamala Khan actually crash into the room, and when she does, of course, that tells the inventor that she heard every single thing that he was telling his assistant. But also, that is the moment where you have all those teenagers just walk in, getting ready to back up Miss Marvel so that they can save Lockjaw and take down the inventor. But that is when you have the inventor reveal to us, to Miss Marvel and the rest of the teenagers, that he had a secret door. And once he opens that door, we see a bunch of teenagers all being held hostage right now. And of course, they're all getting ready to be used for the inventor's next big project. Now, when we jump into Miss Marvel number 11, the last issue we're gonna cover for this video, you actually have Miss Marvel sit down with the inventor because the inventor is explaining what his new project is, which he calls it the Grid. The Grid is going to really get rid of teenagers across the world. Now, they have to be what he thinks are useless teenagers who are not going to be able to actually make the world better. And so if he gets rid of all these teenagers, then in reality, the world should start to get better. Here's the thing though, you have Miss Marvel point out that if he does this, he's basically committing murder. Yes, you're going to fix all the world problems right now, but at the same time, you're committing murder. That is still illegal. And on top of that as well, if he kills someone who he thinks is useless, he may not know that person could be what he is saying now, useless, but down the road, that person could be someone very special for the world. And so it's him also killing the future. And so you have Kamala Khan get very angry. And right when she's about to attack him, he reveals that he was also able to kidnap one of her close friends, Nakia. And that is huge. It makes her realize this man is very serious. Now, of course, you do have Miss Marvel actually attack the Inventor because, of course, he did kidnap her best friend. But once she does attack him, that is when she goes on to save her best friend, Nakia, which she does break Nakia out of the container. But then it makes you realize that, oh my gosh, this man could have possibly killed someone because to him, that person was useless. But here comes the next big thing. For Kamala Khan, she begins to think that maybe all of this is just too big for her. Maybe she can't do this by herself. But then she realized she has no choice because she is the hero of the day. She has to find a way if she wants to actually, save everyone's lives at the moment. But then you have her call up Bruno. Now, she does not actually talk to Bruno because she hangs the phone up. But her doing that right there is a quick sign for him to realize, oh my gosh, she needs help. I need to call the police and send the police to her location at this exact moment. Of course, this leads into a huge battle between Kamala Khan, the Inventor, the teenagers, all of that. It's a huge mess of a battle. Not in a bad way. It's just, you have everyone there. So it's really messy and kind of hard to focus on just one group of people. But either way, though, after about a few pages, Kamala Khan is actually able to defeat the Inventor's project, save all the teenagers who are being held hostage, and then be like, hey, the day is over, man. You're going to jail. The cops have also arrived. The day is over for you, dude. And with the police arriving, you would think that, hey, the Inventor should be going to jail very soon. He's going to get arrested and come back as a bad guy again down the road. But actually, he doesn't, because you have the Inventor run off, trying to get away from the cops. Unfortunately, a bunch of robot pieces fall on top of him, which of course means that the Inventor is now dead. But of course, we all know that in Marvel Comics, heroes nor villains stay dead forever. And finally, the book ends with Miss Marvel, the teenagers, the police, all being happy that they were able to get rid of the Inventor, save the day, and the day is officially done. And so we wrapped up Miss Marvel Volume 2. And so with that being said, I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. And if you do, hit that like button down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. Later, guys.